Okay, so last week we said we promised everybody that we're going to do a Simpsons role play to introduce this episode. So, yeah, Chris, do you want to set the scene for us?
All right, so the prompt that we decided to go with is Homer is taking Bart to Moe's for the first time to get his first beer. Now keep in mind, Bart's 10 years old. So we're just going to see what happens. We haven't rehearsed this at all. We're just going to see what happens. And three,
Okay, wait,
two,
no. So now we got to do it like the scene. So
okay.
cue in the establishing shot of Moe's and cue the music. Boy, we're here to go get you your first beer. Come on.
Homer, why are you taking me here? I'm really want this beer, and I don't think Moe's is a good place to go.
Now, boy, I am your father. You better listen to me, boy. Hi, Mo. It's me.
Hey,
Homer
Homer.
from the. It's me, Homer from.
Ay, caramba!
From the first few episodes of The Simpsons. Now I brought my boy to have his first beer.
I don't know if I could do that, Homer.
What if I persuaded you by you could listen to Stacked Podcast with us while Bart has his first beer.
Well, that sounds like a good idea.
Ay, caramba!
Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Ethan from Stack Podcast. You're listening to Stack Episode 10. We're here today, a little bigger.
We're gonna lose
guys.
viewers because of that. I hope you realize.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stacked Episode 10. Yep, as I said earlier, I'm your host, Ethan, along with...
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Chris.
And today, things are a little bit weird for us today. We're recording a bit early. Usually we record on Wednesdays and have the episodes out by the following Friday, but we all got some schedules and some things to fulfill, so we're recording on a Saturday earlier so I can get this edited out before I have to be busy. And so here we are. So what happened in the past the past 2 days since I've last spoken to you guys?
The Larva
The
Island
Island
movie.
movie.
Okay. So we all had this very, very religious experience. It was a Thursday night like no other, where I went to Chris's house and we ate some stuff. You know, we don't need to specify what we ate, but we ate some stuff, and we decided to pop on Old Cars 2 first as a little appetizer, and FaceTime with the friends while we're doing it, and then later on in the evening we wrapped it up with the infamous 2020 film, The Larva Island movie. Now, Brandon and I have seen this film a week prior, but we needed to induct Chris into this high society of high knowledge, you know? And Chris, what was your experience with the Larva Island movie?
Man, that was a movie and a half. I mean, like, right before we watched this, Ethan and I before Brandon joined in and we watched it together, Ethan and I actually watched Cars 2, which is perhaps the greatest Pixar movie that's ever been made. I'm kidding. Anyway, but following that, I was severely intoxicated by the time that had ended, and went into the Larva Island movie, barely grasping anything that's going on around me. And I kind of liken the experience of that movie to, oh God, Brandon, what's the name of that filmmaker that Professor Fury showed us, where it's just like vivid colors for like a minute? You know what I'm talking about?
Dan Brockridge.
Yeah,
Brockridge?
Brockridge,
Yeah.
something like that. Like, it was just kind of like imagery playing on screen, and like I'm comprehending, but I'm not dissecting or understanding anything beyond what I'm looking at.
I don't think you were meant to, if I'm being completely
Exactly.
honest.
But like, it's just kind of like, I mean, like, if anyone here happens to know this show, the Larva Island show, I think that's what it's called, it's just kind of like, it's exactly what you think it is. Just two little like slugs just kind of roaming around and screaming their heads off. That little red guy is the funniest thing you'll ever see in your life. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say beyond that?
I just got word that while we were talking about the Larva Island movie, my good friend Harrison from the Monkey Time podcast, shout out to the Monkey Time podcast, they're literally right about to start watching the Larva Island movie.
That's amazing.
By my recommendation. I couldn't join them tonight because we're recording, but I said, please, because I can't join you, watch the Larva Island movie in my honor, and they're doing it right now. And I'm glad this magical movie is being spread. Our friends Joey and Tori watched it, and they loved it.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling I'm going to be showing more people the Larva Island movie in the near future. So yeah, Brandon, please dissect the Larva Island movie as if it was a Jodorowsky movie or a Tarkovsky movie, you know? Like,
Oh, okay.
All right. I think that this movie,
how does this stack up with Stalker, you know? That's what I'm asking.
it's all about isolation and, never feeling comfortable in your own skin. But it's also got this deep social message about how like people get along with the environment and how people kind of learn from their suffering to accept the world around them and kind of embrace it.
This is also just like an excruciatingly like existential movie. I mean, like it's about the monotony of existence, is it not? I mean, you're just kind of sitting there with these two guys for like, what is it, like an hour and a half or something like that?
It feels like 4 hours.
It feels like 4 hours, but like
Everyone's first time, it feels like 4 hours.
Yeah.
But when Brandon and I rewatched it, like it went by in a flash. Like, oh my god, everything's happening so fast. But that first painful watch through is just like the trials of Hercules. It's I just got word to also shout out the Monkey Time Twitter account since they're watching the Larva Island movie, and I'm sure you will also get Larva Island reviews and contents on that podcast very soon. So yeah, stay tuned to both. I feel like Larva Island movie will be brought up a lot on this show. It's just going to be a basic unit of measurement of quality for other films, I believe. You know, often you'll see critics when they write about movies, they'll often like help the viewer by comparing things to other films. I have a feeling we may do that a lot with the Larva Island movie, just because it's such a vast movie in terms of its themes, quality, and like filmmaking techniques. You know, but yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, you can't be a Stacked fan without having seen the Larva Island movie from now on. Like it just. After you finish this episode, there's no excuse, you know?
Absolutely.
There's no excuse. There's no excuse.
It's on Netflix. So
yeah, it's on Netflix. It's on if you don't have a Netflix, DM me. I'll give you other means to watch it. DM don't even DM, just at the official Stacked account, and I'll tweet back you some links that will probably get us arrested.
Yes.
Yes.
I do.
The internet. Internet.
I don't like it. My
I
brain.
don't like it.
My brain hurts from having to analyze that movie.
Yeah. They got good screams and farts though. You gotta. You gotta admit
it's
that.
incredible.
Insert scream here.
Okay.
That's hilarious. Anyway,
thank you, Red Larva. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, that's enough Larva Island talk. Let's get into the show, right? So, what is Stacked? How do we do it here? We're 10 episodes in, and you're still confused? What the fuck you doing here? Get out of here. Just kidding. I'll tell you right now, so you don't have to be confused anymore. Once a week, wow, that's the first time I messed up. Kind of stumbled.
the first time. Yeah.
The first
yeah.
time. In a while, okay? In a while. Let me start again. Once a week, we set a topic or theme and go our separate ways to construct our own 3-film stack. Then after the week, we come back. Then after the week, oh my god. Then after a week, shut up. Then after a week, we come back here on the podcast and share our own stacks one film at a time. Then at the end of the show, we will mix and match our 9 films to make the ultimate decision on what quintessential 3-film stack we are checking out of this hypothetical video store. Boom. Okay, there. It's out of the way. It's done. The theme of this episode, is coming-of-age movies. Now, when we set this topic, we had a lot of debate on what is considered a coming of age movie. Now, if I bring up my old friend Wikipedia, let's just go off this definition here, shall we? Now, why is it not coming out? Wow, the definition is not the same definition as I read last time when we were deciding this topic.
I bet Brandon was the one who modified it.
Okay, in genre studies, a coming-of-age story is a genre of literature, film, and video that focuses on the growth of a protagonist from youthhood to adulthood. Coming-of-age stories tend to emphasize dialogue or internal monologue over action. I don't know if that's completely necessary, and are often set in the past. Again, also not really necessary. The subjects of coming-of-age stories are typically teenagers. The Bill Doug Grossman, what the fuck, is a specific subgenre of coming-of-age story. I've never heard of that in my life. Anyways, yeah, we're doing coming-of-age stories. How did you fellas fare with tackling this definition and picking your choices, Brandon?
I just changed mine.
Just now?
Yeah.
Just this second.
Yeah, I just changed one of them because I was like,
Well, because you were so adamant about what a coming-of-age story could be.
yeah, I know. I was really like anticipating it being any movie about aging, about specifically aging. But then I was like, nope.
You had Benjamin Button, didn't you?
I did, but I had to.
I knew it.
Did you
How did I
really?
know?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my god.
How did I know?
Okay, that's cool. What about you, Chris?
I don't anymore. By the way.
For anyone here who has seen 2 episodes ago, I think now, our episode with Joey, I'm very loose with my definitions because I think film is an intersectional expression of whatever. I don't know, but yeah.
All right,
so,
Mr.
like,
Big Words.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't know. We're film studies students. What do you want? So like basically, the outline of my selection is that I wanted to not so much like break away, but like dissect like a bit more like alternatively what a coming of age film is. So I kind of foregoed the usual like kind of, I don't want to say formula, but like structure of a coming of age film. So instead of picking films like, and I love a lot of these films like say Edge of 17, for example, a very classical like well, not classical, but like I don't want to say by the books, but kind of like quote unquote conventional, even though I really like this movie. Coming of age film, I decided to go with something a bit more alternative in the way it portrays growing up as a young adult or teenager or whatever. But yeah, I think I've got some fun picks for you guys.
All right. And I just picked my movies after we set the topic. Wasn't that hard?
All right.
Let's kick this off. Let's start it. Brandon, I also got to say, I messed up the ordering on the past episode. I wasn't supposed to go for first. It was supposed to be someone else. I think it was supposed to be Brandon. So, Brandon, please, the floor is yours for our first coming of age film.
My first film.
All right, that's enough. Ethan's next.
All right.
My first film is Meet the Robinsons.
Oh
my
fucking god!
Okay.
I'm joking. But first, my first film is The Breakfast Club by John Hughes.
Classic,
Ooh.
John Hughes. You gotta have it.
Ultimate classic.
Ultimate classic movie. I think you can't talk coming of age without talking the master of coming of age, and that's John Hughes. I remember first seeing this movie when I was really young. It's a great movie about teen stereotypes and how we can kind of break out of them, and how when you're in high school or in junior high, when cliques are like the thing that like divides everyone, it's nice to know that there are solaces from that, and people are people regardless of what label you put on them. And I mean, outside of that, I mean, it's a really mature movie for like when it's set and how the characters are dealing with real issues in their life, because often in teen romance movies, especially the ones by Netflix, like The Kissing Booth and All the Boys I Loved Before or whatever, those movies are very like, oh, the boy doesn't like me or the boy likes me. Whereas this is more like, well, I'm dealing with like really big mental issues. And I think that's really, really important. And I think a lot of people can take that away from this.
Yeah. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I really dig this movie. I mean, like you said, Brandon, like I really love how the film kind of like deconstructs like the social like structure of like middle school or whatever, where like there's cliques and like people are very like superficial and shit like that, but then you also can dive into like these much more deeper and like human aspects to these young adults who like you said, like a lot of these crappy like formulaic BS that comes out of like movies like Kissing Booth and whatnot. Like, this is something that actually like is really gripping, especially for young people, because themes about depression and stuff like that, yeah, they're heavy-handed, but the thing is, like, young adults, especially teenagers, experience this stuff just as much as anyone else, and arguably even more because of the position they're in their life at the time. So yeah, and I think this is a very apt like description of like what it's like to be kind of, honestly, like coming of age. Like this is kind of like you said, it's kind of like your pick for Back to the Future for time travel. I guess it's like quintessential. I don't know how else to put it. It's really, it's like, it is the, like, it's the coming of age film, I would say.
One of the things that I'm always the most impressed with The Breakfast Club, always, I don't know why I said always, I think I've seen this movie once, it was like in high school, but it's memorable as fuck, it's a really memorable movie. And that's its script. That was one of like the first movies where I started like focusing on like how tightly written this movie is, how tightly written it is to like how clear the characters are, it establishes all, what are there, 5 characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Wait, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the 5 characters. I counted one character twice on the poster. I was counting the poster. All 5 of the characters, like, it does take each little stereotype from high school culture, but it turns that into like an actual person that you can care for. Like, one of the best scenes is when it's towards the end of the movie, and it's Anthony Michael Hall's character is like, he's breaking down and crying, I forgot what it was about, but
It was.
I just remember.
Oh.
You go. You tell me.
It's
Tell me, please.
it's when all the 5 kids are sitting down on the ground together.
Oh, yeah, and he's like, "What if are we not going to talk to each other?"
Yeah,
when this is
tomorrow.
over?" Yeah,
Yeah.
tomorrow. Well, it takes place on a Saturday, so
So
Monday.
on Monday, right? So.
Yeah, but it's just like, that is such a touching scene because it builds the relationship of all these characters so well. It's another film that, like 12 Angry Men, where it's all set in one location, really. It's the detention, it's the library in the high school. And there's nothing really like special about the filmmaking per se, about the cinematography or anything. Like, it's suffice, it does its job. But the true star of this film is John Hughes and the script that he wrote for it. Like, oh my God, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
I would say this would probably be a good double feature, with probably Cabin in the Woods, just for
What?
for breaking down character stereotypes. If you want something like that,
Right, but this one takes a more
nuanced approach.
humanistic approach, and that one's more fantastical, I guess. But I get you. I see your point. All right, Breakfast Club, great first pick. All right, Chris, take us into your first coming of age film.
Well, I'm going to switch gears a little bit here because this is kind of an unconventional pick for this topic. Now, what if I told you my first pick is a contemporary French horror film?
Excusez-moi?
It
That's
is-
a little French joke.
Wait,
for you
I know
guys.
that. I know the movie. I'm not
Don't.
gonna
Well,
say
you
it.
don't say it.
It's Julia Ducournau. Now I probably messed that up. 2016 film Raw.
Oh, Raw.
Yeah, I really dig this movie. I think all 3 of us. Yeah, we've all seen this movie, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really dig this movie. I mean, like, whether it's okay, wait, let me try and break this down as quickly as I can. Basically, the movie is about this girl. I think her name is Justine. Yeah, Justine. She goes to veterinary school but she is a vegetarian. And while she's there, it's her first day, and then she goes through the next couple days just trying to assimilate herself into this new environment, this new new culture and everything like that. Excuse me. Yeah, but like she start like certain like things start to happen and revolve around her, which drives her towards discovering something about herself. I'm not going to get into anything more than that, but the movie really is a metaphor for change but particularly sexual awakening. I really think this movie is like about discovering yourself, but not necessarily in a positive way. And I think that's also something worth talking about, because oftentimes I feel like a lot of these coming of age films is about finding the best version of yourself, which I think is a great thing. But I think it's also worth acknowledging the dark sides of yourself and seeing how that goes. And yeah, I really dig this movie. The style is incredible. I love the way you kind of like progress through this like twisted maze of a film. I feel like you guys can probably speak on this a bit more than me. So I think Brandon digs this movie the most out of all of us, but I don't know, maybe.
You don't think I do?
No, I
Brandon
think
does.
I think you do.
Oh,
I think you
okay.
do like this more than us. But why don't you take us into this next discussion?
Yeah.
Raw is a raw movie. That's for sure.
Oh, okay. All right. Moving on.
I wrote a paper on this movie last year in Professor Fury's class. I
Oh,
don't know if you guys knew that.
tell us about it.
It was basically breaking down social construction via like horror films and like how people psychologically break down over the course of time, and how like teenagers are stressed and stuff about how they get along in school, as well as like fitting in socially. But it's also like breaking down like violence and how kind of teenagers are desensitized to that, and how some people who have moral values are
R.
All right, moving on. Ethan.
no
What?
no
R what?
their moral values are tested.
Tested.
Yes, because of how they relate to like wanting to fit in. That struggle makes them do things that they wouldn't otherwise be comfortable with, and that's great for transitioning into college.
Yes. It's a very I'd say it's very hyperbolic in its themes of familial pressures, redefining yourself in a new place, the desire to want to create a new persona for yourself. I feel like we've all had those kind of experiences, but none of those, I don't know, not for me. None of those have really been wanting to eat people, like experimenting cannibalism, but maybe for you guys. Chris is looking around. He's kind of shifty. He's scratching his head. He's kind of sweating a bit. But yeah, this is, it does such a good job of visually expressing your anxieties that you have of going to college for the first time, visually expressing them in a truly horrifying and disgusting manner. And I saw this for the first time with Chris. Chris, was that your first time we saw
No,
Raw
I
in January?
I saw it in high school, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we got to see this. We got to see this on the big screen, in a Dolby theater at our film school, which was really nice, really nice.
Lucky.
And yeah, nobody passed out, but goddamn, I was near close to it because
Your baby.
there's some
That,
gross stuff.
Do you remember that cow? Or was it a
That's
horse?
the grossest part of the movie is when she's putting her hand up the cow's ass. Spoilers.
Ethan, you have to realize that is farmland.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
That's what it is to be a farmer.
Or a veterinarian. You have to do the work.
I know it's a veterinarian school, but what does that mean for its grander themes? Pulling shit out of a cow's ass.
Gotta get it done yourself.
You're the one who wrote a paper. Tell me.
It's not about that. I didn't. Every message of the movie.
It's not about
About
pulling
the-
shit out of a cow's ass. It's about sending a message.
Oh God, I love the Joker ongoing joke we have. It's so funny.
So Joker's pulling cow shit out of the ass.
Batman's ass.
That's what you got to do, Ethan. You gotta put Joker's face.
Have fun animating.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
All right, but you gotta put some kind of a graphic. with
I
that.
will
Come
put.
on.
I will put something.
He's
but
gonna put a blurred video.
not something that will get us demonetized or
Okay.
anything. Even though we don't make any money anyways. But whatever.
But I just want to quickly say, like, we keep and I think it's me. I keep bringing up that films that we've seen in that horror class.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting for the day that Ethan or I bring up this amazing movie called Blood Diner.
Oh, it'll happen.
heard of
It'll
it.
happen.
Yeah,
I swear to God, it'll happen.
Never
it'll
heard
happen.
of it.
It was
Never heard of
shot.
it?
It was shot by one of the cinematography professors at Dodge. I'm not gonna say his name, but I will. Actually, no, I'm not even gonna out him for this now. I'm gonna leave that out.
Oh.
You're gonna leave that out?
Actually,
All
do you
right.
want me to say it and you can cut it if you think it'll be good to cut? You just bleep the next like 10 seconds if you don't think it's a good idea.
No, I don't care. Yeah, do it. Say it.
Okay, so
So that's Raw. That was Blood Diner, but what we were talking about earlier is Raw, and that's a good pick. Very good, dramatic pick for this coming of age stack. Okay, my first film. It's my turn now. My first film is a 2010 film, completely different location than American high school or a veterinarian school in France. It's the rural suburbs of New Zealand. And
Oh.
that's Taika Waititi's
Boy.
Boy.
boy,
Young boy.
Boy, you're not the boy. Hank Hill, get out of here. Shoot. All right. Taika Waititi's Boy. It's still my absolute favorite Waititi flick.
Ooh.
It's about a boy who calls himself Boy and him being reunited with his father, played by Taika Waititi, who just got out of prison, and just the melodrama that happens between dealing with his father and his shenanigans and reconciling Boy and his little brother's place in the world. And it's one thing. Okay, so Taika Waititi is my favorite film director of all time. I just think his direction, like, no matter the quality of film, is just like so awe-inspiring. The way he's able to do like this, it's energetic and vibrant yet melancholic at the same time, and that's just right up my alley, you know. Like,
That's just Ethan.
that's just me. Yeah, I'm kind of an interesting guy. Like, I'm very vibrant, I'm very funny, but like deep down, I'm pretty melancholic, actually.
Are you gonna
Like, that's-
swipe right or swipe left, everybody?
Are you gonna
Stack
swipe
listeners?
up, swipe down? Like, what are you gonna do to me? Like, just honestly,
Slap his Tinder profile up there now.
are you going to slap my forehead like a watermelon? I don't know. What are you going to do? Yeah, no, but it's just he makes some beautiful feeling films. You know, it's funny, but it's also a very sad film, and it's just, I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's about this boy learning the responsibilities of an adult through his fuck up father, and I love it. What do you guys think?
I really, really dig this movie. I mean, I did give it a 4 out of 5. I don't think it's a perfect movie, but one thing I've always admired about Waititi's direction is he has this like really interesting ability, like, and it's rare within directors, and I think it's like only the best can really achieve this quality, which is that I think he has such a strong understanding of being able to evoke deep-seated trauma and pain and emotion through like even the most vibrant, as you said, vibrant and happy and like most, you know, seemingly beautiful parts of life. And I think he strikes a really strong balance between those two aspects and tones. I remember I watched this over the summer, and I think right after I actually messaged Tori because I wanted to tell her, like, when I saw this movie, the only thing I could think of was like her YTT's direction reminds me a lot of, and I think I'm amongst the three of us, I'm like the one who has the most like quote unquote authority to say this, but Tori's direction is very similar to the way YTT does it, in the sense of like bringing out deep pain and emotion through like comedy and like life and vitality. And I think that's something that, is kind of like obvious for like a young person going through life, where you have deep-seated emotions, but at the same time you're also a really funny and like outgoing, maybe even just fully functioning person, but there's still something under there. Yeah. Brandon.
Wow, Chris, you just broke down like my whole like personality right there. Like, I just want to reinstate again that I am an interesting, handsome guy, and I just like just like whatever. That's just me. I'm not trying to like notion anything or suggest anything to anybody. That's just me. Brandon, what do you think?
I like boy.
All right.
All right. Can we clip that and just tweet that before this episode comes out? I like boy.
Yeah. I like boy. That's like my name is JF. I like boy.
I Taika Waititi is the best filmmaker in terms of handling tone.
Yeah.
I think he's got such a grasp on it, and like I know you guys have kind of broken that down a lot already, so I won't go too far into it, but I think there are scenes in this movie where it's joyous, but at the same time you feel the inner pain of our lead character as he kind of struggles to relate and even like give the same feelings back towards his dad that his dad expects of him. And I think that's really brilliant. I think the best thing that comes of it, I think it's really good for connecting fathers and sons. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yes, great points. And I also just want to shout out another film that's mentioned in Taika Waititi's Boy that I was gonna put on this list, but I want to save it for another stack. And it's, hey man, that movie's, it's just like E.T. I've seen that movie like 5 times. I think E.T. is a good coming of age film, but I didn't include it.
I think
included in my stack.
Boy is like probably my least memorable of Taika's movies, but it's probably one of my highest ranked.
Wow. Just kidding. Okay, that's cool. All right, Brandon. Talking such big game. Why don't you take us into your second film, huh? You big old piss boy. You big old tall string bean ass man. You big old striped sweater ass fucking boy.
All right, my movie. We watched it together in the cinema in 1999. Not in 1999.
Oh, I was like, what? We were all like fetuses?
No, we watched it at the Felino together. It's 1999's Y Tu Mama Tambien.
Oh.
I've got the Criterion Blu-ray right here.
Oh, but not just the CD. You don't have just the DVD. You got the actual box set right there.
Right.
The actual case this time.
Is it divided into like 4 DVDs? Like the... How many? Oh my god, there's a lot actually.
Jeez, wow. This is an audio unboxing video right here.
It's a good movie.
What can I say? It's a good movie.
We watched this together in, I forget what class. Was it history?
Film history. I think it was our first
film.
dive into...
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were diving into Mexican cinema.
Right. And this is where I found my love for the majority of Mexican cinema, because this movie is absolutely amazing. It's a personal movie about 2 best friends connecting over a road trip. It's like a movie about coming into your own and like how puberty affects your growth as a human being. It's about how like sex can kind of divide friendships, and how over time the jealousy and envy like starts to ooze away, and then you're left with something quite beautiful. Being close with friends is really important, and I don't think a movie does a better job at capturing that than Y Tu Mama Tambien.
Yeah, we had a great experience watching this film all together for the first time.
Yeah, we did.
Especially Brandon.
Oh
sitting
god.
next to him.
I remember just looking over. I think maybe he was 2 seats down from me. I just look over at him, and he's just like You know how like when you sit in a movie theater, like usually people like leaning back on their chair, just like really taking it in. Brandon was like leaned forward and like eyes wide open.
It was
I could tell he was just digging this movie.
it was a visceral experience for him, and it's a very good film.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a great movie.
oh man, Alfonso Cuarón did this movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Alfonso Cuarón's direction in this is like, I don't know,
It's realist for sure.
it's very realist. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. It's
What?
realist.
Realist in a sense that it's like, I feel like with Italian neorealism, if we're gonna get into this throughout this.
Well, that's neorealism. That's
Yeah,
not realism.
no, but at the same, it is realism, right? It deals with suffering.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But their form of realism is so dully expressed.
Wow.
Man, the Italian if there's anyone Italian watching this other than Joey. Wow.
But is he really Italian? Come on.
I mean, isn't he like
Whoa!
isn't he like an eighth Indian or something?
Yeah, but that's not Italian. Okay, the thing I'm trying to get out here.
What is happening? Talk about the fucking movie.
It's a realism that is like captured with such like vigor.
I'm sorry, what?
Vigor.
Did you just say
No, I said. All right.
I'm gonna bleep out those words.
this might be the funniest episode we've done yet when I've been trying. Okay.
All right.
Recuperate. We're okay.
Recuperate. Chris, how about you talk about Itumama Tom?
No, wait. I was in the middle of a thought. Are we
No,
gonna keep this all in?
Yeah, we'll keep it in. Keep going. Go.
Oh, okay. This movie has such vigor in it about the way it's executed that it's the energy it promotes and has is like you feel like you're involved in this movie. And hence why I was leaning forward and grasping the arms of the chair.
Your cup of orange juice and your celery sticks.
Oh yeah, totally. I was doing that the whole movie. It's like, I wasn't slouching in my chair this time. I was.
Yeah, I mean that's an ongoing joke with us. We always say like how one of us is reacting to a movie based on our like seating position.
Yeah.
I think during like Gummo we were all slouched. Like you, Brandon, I think you were off your chair at one point.
Yeah.
I think I was just resting my neck on the seat of the chair for Gummo.
I think I was about to throw. I was looking to the right of the theater trying to throw up.
But yeah. Chris, take us in more into it.
Yeah. So yeah, YouTube Mama Tambien. Like, I remember when I first saw this movie, I think I wrote my review on Letterboxd, and I think I described it as like one of those like great like quote unquote aimless character driven pieces, where it's not so much about the plot that's progressing the story, it's more about it watching these characters live and interact with one another and seeing how that dynamic unfolds. And yeah, Brandon, like you said, like this is a great film about friendship, absolutely, but more so about self-discovery and learning about oneself through the company of others. Yeah, I mean, like Cuarón's direction is like in this film is like some of his best, I think. I mean, I think the only thing that really comes close is Roma. Amongst what I've seen is Roma, and I'm kind of a Harry Potter fan, so maybe Prisoner of Azkaban. But I will put my hands up right now and say, and I feel awful about this, I've never seen Children of Men, so I gotta see that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I mean, it destigmatizes sex too, which is really, in most American cinema, I think you deal with like the evils of sex a lot, but in Mexican cinema, he wasn't afraid to delve deep into its subject matter that might provoke some controversy from audiences, which is really interesting.
Right. And all I have to say about this movie is Gael Garcia Bernal and Diego Luna, iconic film duo.
Give them more roles.
Give them more roles together. They're amazing together in this movie.
Yeah, they're great together.
All right. Great second pick. Chris, take us into your number 2.
All right. Well, continuing my trend of slightly less traditional come-of-age films. Wait, I'm about to burp. No, I'm not. Okay. Um,
Changed your mind, huh?
we can cut that
Me
out.
too.
Is a 2016 film.
Another one.
Directed. Yes, another 2016 film. Is my last one? No, my last one's not. Um, my so this film, made in 2016. Released by I think the studio. Yeah, the studio was A24. Anyone got any guesses?
Lady Bird?
That's on
Barry
2016.
Jenkins's Moonlight.
Oh.
Ah.
Yeah. So,
Moonlight.
I find this a very, very.
Moonlight.
Why is that not Joker's laugh?
I finally see that moonlight has come onto the Stack podcast.
Very good. Can I just talk about that joke before you talk about the movie?
Yeah, go for it.
So whenever we're at the AMC theaters and they advertise back in the glory days of before everything was a pandemic apocalypse, and you could go to movie theaters. Before the movies, they would advertise AMC A-list, and it would always have this big graphic of movies, like in this diamond like pattern or something like that. And Joker, it would be during the scene when he's like, "Let me do a magic trick." So he's pointing to the right of the screen, and right next to him is the Moonlight poster. So we always made this joke, like whenever we saw this, like Joker's pointing to his favorite movie of all time, and it's Moonlight. So he's like,
Moonlight. My favorite movie, Moonlight. Do you want to know how I got this favorite movie?
Anyway, okay, that's the
I
joke.
saw it in theaters in 2016.
Okay.
And I loved it.
How do I describe this movie? So, this is a film directed by Barry Jenkins, and it follows the story of this young man trying to come to terms with himself. And it's told through these three distinct chapters in his life, being childhood, adolescence, and adulthood. It talks about his feelings of pain, euphoria, falling in love, but most definitely grappling with his identity as a member of the LGBT community. And this, for me, was one of the first films that really dived into like LGBT representation in a way that was a lot more like intimate and tender, and like really got you into the mind of this character and really helped you understand the overarching like societal flaws when it comes to talking about this kind of thing, but also on a more like deeply intimate level about how painful and excruciating it is to accept oneself in an environment that can often be so hostile towards that personhood. And this is like a really beautiful film. It really, for me, like is one of the most delicately executed films of all time. I really think it almost like gently floats in this conversation, but in the best way possible. It dives deep by treading lightly, if you will. I don't know how else to describe the tone.
It's incredibly subtle, I think is the word you're looking for. Incredibly subtle, and it's decade defining, honestly, in terms of like what's been set after it, it sort of was like I don't know. I feel like it sort of did define like an entire movement of black cinema that came after it, in the second half of the 2010s. And it's such a great deconstruction of masculinity and the pressures.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the cine.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
The city. It's amazing. It's so beautiful and so vibrantly, but like with cool colors.
Yeah.
It's so like great pick.
Quick tidbit: the Barry Jenkins and his cinematographer for this film, I believe his name, I'm just looking at James Laxton. They were inspired most heavily for the visuals of this film by Wong Kar-wai's In the Mood for Love, which I personally think is the best shot film of all time in terms of cinematography.
I would agree.
So, yeah, there you go. Brandon, what do you think about this movie?
This movie hurt me.
Huh?
It hurt me in 2017.
Is it because it beat out La La Land?
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
He
I
was-
was
he was
I
crushed.
was running around my house like, hey, my La La Land won. And then I come back and they're like, no, no, no. And I was like, oh no. No.
Oh no!
Well, I loved La La Land so much that I was like, I visited the set like when I was at Warner Brothers. Did you guys not know that?
Wait, you never told us
No.
this story.
So what happened was my parents and I were touring Warner Brothers before college, and they were talking about Damien Chazelle's new movie, and they brought us to where the coffee shop was, and it was all decorated and stuff because they were going to start shooting there for like a week. But I was just like,
Oh, that's cool.
I was like on set, and I had a personal connection to that movie because I remember I watched Whiplash like twice in a row in 2014 when I got a screener for it. And I was like, wow, like this is really amazing. I can't wait to see what this guy does next. And I heard La La Land was coming out, and I had been obsessing over the trailers. And then when the movie came out, it lived up to my expectations. And then Moonlight won. So enough with La La Land. And I saw Moonlight in theaters, and I loved the first two acts of the movie because it really takes this like gritty view of like a person's life as they're struggling with who they are as a person, and it's really applicable to the 2010s. And I think the passing of the passing of gay marriage legislation in the United States, and that's great. But the last third of it like kind of fell flat for me. It's like I was like, it's over when it cut to black at the end of the movie, and it's not like I don't like where the movie went. I was just like expecting a little bit more. Not saying I don't love the movie. I really like the movie. I've warmed up to it more over time, but I still have a little bit of a soft spot for the other one.
Yeah, I mean, like I honestly do get what you mean. Like, I really respect Moonlight a lot, but I do get like that sense of like my attachment to La La Land as a human being, as a person, it resonates with me more because the themes of that film touch me on a more personal level because I was going through stuff like that at the time, especially. So, but yeah, so I guess it's the relatability factor in that conversation. But yeah, I mean, like back to Moonlight, just really quickly, like one thing that came to mind that I forgot to talk about is like the way in which Jenkins, like, I think he does a really great job at distinguishing the internal self from the external persona. And like,
Yeah.
not everyone is who you think they are, and they like people might be putting on a facade to protect themselves or something like that. So, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah. Assholes. I already said my piece on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful film. Beautiful, beautiful film. Okay. Let's go into my second pick. So, not as like groundbreaking as Moonlight, but mine is a 2017 film. Came out the year after, and it's a superhero film about growing up, and I feel like coming of age and coming into a superhero identity is really they kind of go hand in hand. Like it matches up really well. And my film is Spider-Man: Homecoming, which I'm glad Brandon brought John Hughes early in the film because it was a huge influence. And this is the film that made me really fall in love with the character of Spider-Man. Before then, I never really fell in love with Raimi's films or the Mark Webb ones, but this one, it really reminded me of those first few issues of Spider-Man, where when he finally becomes a hero, and he's still learning about his responsibilities, all he can think about is living up to those around him. And the first thing he does in I think it's the Amazing Spider-Man #1, not Amazing Stories when he gets his powers, but he goes and he begs to the Fantastic Four for a job. And I just see that all paralleled in this film where he's trying to live up to Tony Stark, and he's trying to like he wants to be an Avenger, and he thinks because he has the power of an Avenger means he can already be one. But this film puts him to the test through high school drama and superhero drama. Yeah, you had to yawn, didn't you? Like a screaming cat, Brandon.
I don't know what you want from me, buddy.
Don't yawn while I talk, asshole. High school drama and superhero drama. Tom Holland's my favorite Spider-Man. He has a great job. He actually is a kid as opposed to Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire when they shot their film. So it makes it all the more relatable when he's Spider-Man. Michael Keaton is the greatest Spider-Man on-screen villain yet. No, actually, that's not. I'm just kidding. I like Mysterio more, but he's up there. He's super great as the Vulture. A really bizarre character that was adapted really well and fits perfectly into the grander Marvel Cinematic Universe. And yeah, Spider-Man: Homecoming. All right, Brandon. Brandon, what do you want?
Spider-Man: Homecoming reminds me of Little Big League.
What?
Yeah.
Okay,
Brandon,
wait,
I'm gonna come to
I'll hear you
Arizona and
out.
beat the shit out of you.
No, Chris. I'll hear him out. What you got? What you got?
All
What
right.
you got?
You got Spider-Man, who has to deal with living a double life as a superhero and a teenager in high school. And you've got Billy, who has to manage the Minnesota Twins, but at the same time deal with friendships and going to school. So they are very much having these split issues of like dealing with multiple lives at once. The only difference is that Spider-Man's life is a secret life and Billy's life is one in the public presence. So I mean I like Spider-Man Homecoming a lot. It's not my favorite Spider-Man movie. That would go to Into the Spider-Verse, which is excellent. I
Yeah.
think that's even better as a coming of age movie. But I think Spider-Man Homecoming is a good pick. Like I remember John Watts saying a lot that inspirations came from John Hughes directly and from like a bunch of 80s like coming of age movies like Dirty Dancing and stuff like that. Not necessarily in like their like their depictions of things, but through their themes. I really enjoyed the movie. Michael Keaton's great in the movie. I just don't know if it's necessarily all the focus of the movie is on the coming of age of Spider-Man.
Then what would you say is the focus?
I mean, it's about Peter becoming Spider-Man, but I don't know if it's about him becoming an adult.
It's one and the same. Spider-Man, not Spider-Boy. They make a point of that in the movie.
I gotta say, I do think the like Spider-Man is like him learning to be Spider-Man and what that means. I suppose it could like you could read that as like a metaphor for adult, like, you know, coming into adulthood. Well, like not necessarily adulthood, but like, you know, young adulthood or something, like learning responsibility and learning, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. I mean, they don't
That
say
wasn't
those
in
lines.
this movie.
They say, what do they say? It's like if something about you, no suit, don't have it, something like that.
I can
No suit, don't have it. That's
a t-shirt.
I'm putting up the poster and it says that. It's the quotations, like that's the log line for the film. No suit, don't have it.
I concede. I think that then that's a good choice.
Okay.
Yay! Chris, what do you think about this movie?
Yeah. Like, as you guys know, I think each of us have our superhero that we adore. I think Brandon's is either Captain America or Superman. Ethan's is Ant-Man, and I think Doctor Strange and Aquaman, maybe.
Aquaman
Right.
and Ant-Man.
Mine is Batman and Spider-Man, and I'm a basic bitch for that. But
Yes.
I really am.
No, you're not. They are fantastic characters.
They are fantastic, but I will say they are the most commonly loved superheroes, I think.
Well, there's a reason for that. They're
I guess,
so great.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I gotta say, like, yeah, I really do like this movie. I do think it absorbs the John Hughes energy very well, but invigorates it with this like superhero vitality to it, and this was a film where, you know, like that kind of like once again restored my faith in the Spider-Man mythos, because as we all know, Spider-Man has had a very turbulent history in cinema.
Yeah.
Whether it's like, you know, walking down the street, you know, strutting and pointing with Sam Raimi, or those insane montages that have nothing to do with anything in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Or
Oh,
you'll
God.
get my rent when you fix that goddamn door.
Damn door! But yeah, I mean, like, this kind of like it captured that vital part of Spider-Man, which is like the responsibility to care for others, care for the little guy, but also just
Yeah.
like persevere through things. Like there's a scene in this movie, I'm not gonna spoil too much, but he's in a real pickle. he, and he has
Tom
to.
Holland's face in a pickle or on a pickle, please.
Oh God! You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
I'm
He has to-
pickle Spider-Man. I'm pickle.
God damn it! Why did we have to tarnish our podcast with one of those jokes? I hate you.
So he has to like lift something like really heavy, and he has to find the willpower to do it. And you really, that scene alone is like a great Spider-Man moment, because you really get a sense for what Spider-Man's all about. And yeah, it's a metaphor for coming of age and like learning to transition from little ass like friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, even though that is who he is, but also learning to accept responsibility and be a larger than life superhero, and accepting that even though he's not larger than life, his identity is.
Right.
And yeah, that's what's meaningful about it. So yeah, dig this movie.
All right. Yeah.
No.
Okay. Let's go. We gotta wrap it up here. We gotta wrap it up.
I'm sorry.
So let's go into our final round. Brandon, hit us with your third film.
Boyhood.
Okay, Chris, hit us with your third.
All right, we do
All
have to
right.
make this
Yeah,
quick,
sorry.
so let's get it.
Yeah.
Boyhood is this great coming of age movie by Richard Linklater, nominated for Best Picture in 2014 or 2015, one of the two. And it's about a boy literally coming of age from, I think, 6 to 18, 19 years old. And they shot it over the period of 12 to 13 years. Yes, it's a gimmick, but I think it pays off in dividends, because you get to see these characters, not just the kid, but the adults age over time. And it's not just like the aging in terms of like their conversations they have. It's their aging in terms of what becomes important to somebody as they get older, and how do traumas affect them as time goes on. I know the movie gets criticized a lot for having no plot, essentially. It's basically an event to event sort of movie. But I think for a movie like this, and for Richard Linklater especially, that's what works. And I love this.
Okay. I'm not really a Linklater fan. I watched Everybody Wants Some, as Brandon recommended, on our summer movies. I hated it.
Fuck
Sorry,
you.
Brandon. It's a very toxic movie, I believe, but you're entitled to your own opinions.
I agree.
But
you're
I've
wrong.
you lost my train of thought. I like some of his movies. I haven't gotten to Boyhood yet, because at the time, yes, I did think it was a gimmick movie, and I did decide not to see it. But yeah, sounds interesting.
It's
Maybe I
not a
should check it out.
stunt. It's a gimmick.
Okay, it's not a stunt, but it's a gimmick.
Yeah.
Chris, have you seen this movie?
Yes, I have. Man, I don't even. It was like way back that I saw this, but like, just to be clear, this is the one with Brie Larson in it, right?
No.
No, wait, that's
What?
Room. What the fuck?
What?
Sorry, I thought this was Room.
What if Brie Larson was in Boyhood? I would
What the?
just love that.
All right, you don't get to talk about this.
Yeah,
movie,
I
Chris.
honestly, maybe
Sorry.
I haven't seen this movie. Sorry, I thought this was.
All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Next movie.
Go to your third movie.
Oh God. Okay.
All right, what's your number 3?
My third movie is a. Well, Ethan, I'm really glad that you mentioned Spider-Man: Homecoming, because my third pick is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Hey, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, Miles Morales, young Spider-Man, growing up in a world where he discovers that there is a multiverse and there are hundreds of Spider-Men out there, and he meets, I think, 5 of them, or 4, something like that. 5, I think. And he learns what it is to be Spider-Man, kind of pretty much the same themes as Homecoming, but I think portrayed in a much more, at least in my opinion, a more, like, I don't want to say human, but like there's something like relatable about, like, I guess it's kind of similar. It's like a young kid in a big world, and that's kind of like, I think that's what it's like to be, coming of age. I don't know. What do you guys think about this
I love
movie?
this pick so much. I do. I think this is the best Spider-Man movie. It keeps you on your toes. It's not predictable. It's really emotional, and I think the coming of age stuff with Miles and his dad and Miles and his uncle is fantastic.
Okay, I love this movie. It's an amazing movie. It's not my favorite Spider-Man movie. Honestly, I prefer the MCU ones just a little bit more, but I love Into the Spider-Verse. I think Miles Morales is the best Spider-Man of all time.
I
I like
agree.
him more than Peter. But I would say that I'm going to argue against that this is a more of a coming of age movie than Homecoming. I think the themes of this movie are more about anyone can wear the mask. I think that's what this movie's all really about, instead of transitioning into adulthood like Homecoming is. That's my argument.
Okay.
And yeah, I love this movie. I do think some of the characters are wasted. Like after a couple rewatches, like Spider-Ham and Spider-Man Noir, like I wish those characters were just developed a bit more. But I get it. It's about Miles Morales.
It's not about them.
I know that, but I love those characters so much, and it was disappointing to see that they weren't further developed. You know,
We're getting a sequel.
I know, and we're getting okay. So maybe I'll shut up when the sequel comes out. But what am I even to complain about? I love this movie, but I would say that I think Homecoming is more of a coming of age than this film, because I don't think we should ignore Spider-Verse's themes of the fact of anybody can wear a wet mask, anyone can be a hero.
Well, it can be both at the same
find-
time.
I know, but I'm just arguing for the stack, Brandon.
I disagree.
Boom!
No, I will honestly like secede in the sense that like I do, even though I don't agree, but I do understand Ethan's argument in the sense that I would say, yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming does emphasize the coming of age aspect of a young Spider-Man more. But that's not to say, as Ethan said, that's not to say Into the Spider-Verse is any less of a film. I think it's just its main focus might verge somewhere else.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does acknowledge like young Spider-Man coming into form, but at the same time, yeah, it does. It does like talk a lot more about wearing the mask and that anyone can be a hero no matter who you are or your past or anything like that. But yeah, okay.
That's cake.
Love that pick.
Kicking.
Love that pick. Lots of Spider-Man love on this podcast. We love him. We love old Spidey. Okay, so my third and final film is I decided to save this for last because I think it's the coming of age film that touched me the most. I find it relatable. I find it hilarious, and it's a classic. It's a classic film.
Triumph of the Will.
Triumph of the Will. That's my, no. it taught me a lot about coming over your anxieties of not being taken seriously and
Being a fucking Uber Nazi.
no, it's not
it.
Triumph of the Will. We're not talking about Triumph of the Will. We're talking about the SpongeBob movie, the very first SpongeBob movie.
It kind of is about being a loser,
It is.
but not a Nazi.
It's about SpongeBob not having to like struggling with people not taking him seriously as an adult, but having that shouldn't matter. You should still be yourself, but also it teaches people that you don't have to be a Squidward to be an adult. You know, you can still have energy, you can still have youth, and it takes you on this wonderful journey of SpongeBob and Patrick going to get the crown and save the town and Mr. Krabs, you know, and it's a magical journey. It's the last great piece of SpongeBob media that came out before the dark times, as SpongeBob fans know. And
HD.
yeah, that's once the bars are gone, once the two black bars on the side of the green are gone, you know you're not watching a good SpongeBob episode. That's kind of the rule. But yeah, it's directed by Steven Hillenburg. Rest in peace. He made a fantastic movie here about accepting your childlike side, but also having a responsibility. And I love the SpongeBob movie. What do you guys think?
I love this movie a lot. It's a great musical. Like the music in it is actually really.
Yeah, I love the music in this movie.
It's really catchy. It doesn't rip off anything. It homages to classic rock, which I love. Like the end song, being a goofy goober. That's excellent. The themes are great. The comedy is gold. It appeals to adults as much as it appeals to kids. But I think it also says something that kids might not pick up on, you know, or they might pick up on, but it might not hit them until like a later age. And that's like you can sacrifice things in order to help others. And yeah, like you can learn to become an adult even and not let go of your childhood and how it had an effect on you.
Right. Chris?
I'll be honest, I have not seen this movie.
What?
What? I thought... What?
Look, here's the thing. I'm just gonna very quickly talk about this. The three of us are in a three-way Venn diagram between Cartoon Network, Disney Channel, and Nickelodeon.
That's right, yeah.
So Brandon grew up watching Disney and Nickelodeon. Ethan grew up watching Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, and I grew up watching Cartoon Network and Disney Channel. So this is one of those movies that I happen to miss out on. But
We have blind
hey,
spots. Okay.
yeah. So like
We're only human.
Y'all can judge me all you want, but Brandon, I bet your ass you haven't seen the Teen Titans Go movie. And Ethan, I bet your ass that we made you watch the High School Musical movie, but you haven't seen Lemonade Mouth, I bet you.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like my randomly missing thing. I did watch a little bit of SpongeBob as a kid. I know like I think I do know enough like to keep up with like the big quotes. Patrick is one of my favorite characters. Like he's just so fucking funny. So I don't really have much to say about this film because I literally have no idea what it's about, other than of course SpongeBob and whatnot. But yeah, I mean,
This
that's
is a
all I
good
got.
road trip movie.
It's great. It's a road trip movie, and it's about... So Mr. Krabs opens a Krusty Krab 2, and he has to decide a new manager for the Krusty Krab 2. Yeah, 2. And SpongeBob thinks that it's him, that it's going to be him. But Squidward gets the job instead. And Mr. Krabs' reasoning is because SpongeBob's just still a kid, even though he's the best employee at the Krusty Krab. And that makes SpongeBob sad. And then they get into all this. Plankton does a plan that freezes Mr. Krabs, and he takes over the town. And SpongeBob has to go on this quest, and it's about him going on this quest and coming to terms with if he's a man or not. And it's fantastic. It's a fantastic movie.
Great.
Okay, that's that's SpongeBob movie.
All right.
All right, and those are our films. Those are 3 films. So let's before we get to fighting about what's gonna be on this final stack. Let's run them down. Brandon, start us out with this rundown.
Breakfast Club. You Two Mama Tambien. Boyhood.
He just showed all the DVDs in our faces. Okay, Chris, what about you?
My films are Raw, Moonlight, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
All right, and my films are Boy, Spider-Man Homecoming, not Spider-Verse, Homecoming, and The SpongeBob Movie. Okay, so what I'm thinking about for our theme here is, I think let's try to be as diverse in terms of like settings, you know? So here's my pitch. So let's have our American coming of age film be The Breakfast Club. You know, we have an American coming of age. Then let's have our Mexican coming of age film be E2 Mama. And then I would say Boy for our
Whoa,
New Zealand
hang on.
coming
You're
of age.
leaving out France and like Moonlight, which is like Black America.
Yeah, I
don't
know
know.
it's hard, but
I mean, like, like if we're talking,
are you really gonna
diversity-
pull that card on me?
If we're no, I won't hold you to that. But I will say, like, if we're talking diversity, I think what's more important to talk about in terms of that is not necessarily the setting, but more so the way in which it's executed.
You are so right. So
Yeah.
What I'm gonna say.
2 of mine are 5-star movies.
So what I'm gonna say here is, I think E2 Mama and Moonlight are more coming of age films that deal with your sexuality. So I think let's swap out for Moonlight. What do you think about that, Chris? Boy, Moonlight, Breakfast Club.
I don't
all
like
completely
that.
different. Why?
Because I think Y Tu Mama Tambien is more international, and we need to start to like recommend people stuff that they may not have seen.
What if we
Okay.
switch E2 Mama for Raw, because that's also for sexual awakening.
Ooh,
And it's also horror. That's
but
different.
I think it's less focused on the sex. It's still there.
But it is also about like just basic like coming of age, like adolescence, and like fitting in.
I would rather have Moonlight. if I'm going to be honest. Yeah, I think Raw maybe I think I might like Raw more, but I just think for this category, I'm just going to say right now, I think Moonlight would be more perfect for this category than Raw. I feel like we could save Raw for other stacks in the future.
Would you? Okay, I think it is, but I just want to hear what you guys think. Do you think Breakfast Club must be on this list?
Yes.
I think so too. But
Yeah.
Ethan, yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much locked.
It's a lock.
So
And I really want Boy on this list. It's such a good film.
I want Boy on
And-
this list too, because
I'd be okay with having.
it
Boy on
goes
this.
with the international flow of things, you know.
Yeah.
So
So I think
then-
like basically
and
when
Moonlight.
between it's I think right now we're in the conversation between Moonlight and Raw. So basically it's kind of like if we're
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Sorry, Me Too Mama Time.
Moonlight and
You-
Me Too Mama.
Me Too Mama Time Bien and Moonlight. Right?
I think Moonlight's a better movie than
I think
Me Too
Moonlight
Mama.
tackles like I think it's much more contemporary. Not to say that's better, but like I also think it's
Right.
just like I don't know, I like the movie more.
Me too. I think it's a better film. I think its themes are more powerful, and it, like I said, I think Moonlight is decade defining. As I think also Breakfast Club is
but
probably
we already
decade-defining.
we already have an American movie on the list.
But it's so different.
But it's
from
not
Breakfast Club.
it's not a like I don't know, it's so like different. Like this story could be told from like the perspective like say a French like African American like gay like man, but like
French.
you know this yeah, sorry, what? Wait, what? Sorry,
French African American gay man.
sorry. I'm still working on that. Working on that. What the hell? Anyway,
Working on what?
my words. I don't know. I'm Chinese.
And this is where we
That's not true.
Okay, to get rid of this controversy, let's just put E2.
No. I petitioned for Moonlight.
I think this is a 2 beats 1 scenario.
I would switch out Boy for
Shut up.
Moonlight.
No. You are not kicking me out. You are not kicking me out. I'm standing my ground this
Well,
episode. You're not putting me out of the list. You have a pick. You already have Breakfast Club.
I want 2 picks.
Sit down, Boy, and deal with it. We're putting in Moonlight.
I want 2 picks.
No.
This is a better sex movie.
No. See, that's all. That's
all he cares about. That's all he cares about. He just likes the
No,
sex in that
it's-
movie.
No, it's
We're
good.
not indulging in these behaviors, Brandon. We're putting in Moonlight.
Disagree.
All right, so there's our. Wait, let's figure out how we're gonna order this. Should we go by age? Should we do Boy, Breakfast Club, Moonlight?
Well, Moonlight is like all
Well,
ages.
that's why I have a problem
Yeah,
with it being
but-
on the list because it's like
because it's age. Like what?
yeah, because it's like 3 different ages, and if you put it anywhere on the list, it's kind of awkward because there's no progression.
But it's about like a person like throughout time coming of age.
So is he too?
Kind of like Benjamin Button that you originally had, but you threw
Yeah.
that away, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, you know why I threw it away?
Because it is a good movie and you're dumb.
My God, things are getting heated. Oh my God. All right, Brandon. There's no way you can convince us that E2 Mom is going to be on this list over Moonlight or Boy or Breakfast Club. I'm just going to say that. I'm obsessed with constantly trying to be not upset. That's why I stay in my private jet.
All right.
That bitch, I ain't trying to fret. I as a bitch, I ain't trying to flex.
I don't think
Dipping the
Moonlight's
sign of
Shut up. Moonlight's not a satisfying ending, so we shouldn't have it last.
Let's have Breakfast. Let's do it like our time travel
Classic.
movies.
Last.
Let's have. Should we have Breakfast Club be last?
Yeah.
Should we go Moonlight first, Boy second, so we go out of the U.S. and then we come back to the U.S. for Breakfast Club? What do you guys think about
I'm
that?
cool with that.
Okay.
What do you think, Chris? Yeah?
Thumbs up.
All right. Okay. Look at that. That was probably our bloodiest
Fight for
decision
stack, yeah.
fight for the final stack yet.
I want
that guy-
SpongeBob instead of Moonlight.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, let's do it.
No.
All right, let's run this down. We're an hour and 20 minutes, maybe probably less. But Chris, start us off with Stack's quintessential coming of age flicks list. Hit it.
All right. So our first film is a 2016 film directed by Barry Jenkins. It won Best Picture at the Oscars. It is Moonlight. It is a film telling the story about a young African American man coming to terms with himself, learning about his identity in a world that is inhibiting him from doing so. It's about the dichotomy between the external self, the external persona, and the internal self. It is a beautiful expression of the LGBT community, and yeah, it's a gorgeous film from start to finish.
All right. And our second film on this stack is Taika Waititi's second feature film from 2010. It's Boy. It's struggling about coming to terms with being who you are and who your parents are. It's about realizing what is success in the world and what you really want. And then it can do so bad, and he'll do that. So you can do so bad, he'll do anything.
What?
Brandon, what do you? I'm gonna overlay
Your
that
head
video.
really did explode 2 episodes.
No, I was referencing a video. I
It
was
was
referencing a video.
the little kid.
That kid. I'm gonna overlay the two. But yeah, that's my Boy. It's our second pick.
Boy.
Brandon, going to our third
right.
and our final pick.
Our final pick is Breakfast Club, the most quintessential coming-of-age movie about a group of kids getting together and finding out who they really are and why cliques don't necessarily work in society, and how you need to break those norms and become an adult.
All right, and there it is, everyone. That's the stack. I hope you all check out these 3 amazing films. I hope you go check out all of these films that we've talked about on this podcast.
Yeah, this is a great
today.
episode. I think we made some great picks.
All 9 of them deserve to be watched.
Yes, and if you do ever take up a recommendation from us, please let us know on social media. We'd love to see that kind of stuff. I know Joey Jordan's mom watched Cabin in the Woods from a stacked recommendation, right?
Oh boy.
And I don't know what her consensus was, but it's always nice to see that people are actually taking our words for it and checking out these great films. Yeah, and that'll do it for the show today. I'd like to thank Brandon and Chris for joining me.
Every week, I don't fucking know.
I'd like to thank my 2 special guests, Brandon and Chris, for joining
it's
me.
not like we're co-hosts. Ethan's the host. You and I are just recurring guests.
You know what?
Yeah.
We're gonna perform a coup now. Let's.
You know what?
Thank you for
Keep talking and yelling. I'm just gonna cut you 2 out right now. See? Now they're not talking. No, I am in control.